Here's my latest addition to the herd. And this one is actually in pretty good shape. Of course it doesn't run, none of them do. But, the steering wheel was locked over to the side and he didn't have keys. So the steering wheel was stuck. So we had to pull it up, see that dolly under the front wheel, and the winch is holding it right now. So it took three of us and we got it up there. It wasn't that bad. But the bike's pretty clean. It's got a seat and it's in good shape. And it's got the actual Honda fairing in the front. They're made by Honda. So anyway, we'll see how it runs, if it runs. As soon as the weather gets a little better and I can get it off the trailer. It's raining right now, so. Well, I got it off the trailer and that was really a job. I never would have made it without that winch. I did it by myself and I just did it little by little, tried to think which way the bike would roll, and finally got it off. I used a jack too to move it over because the steering wheel is locked, and so the bike kept wanting to go to one side and I had to push it back the other way. So I guess the next job, I want to get it into the garage, but I would like to get the handlebars unlocked before I do that. And of course I don't have a key, that's the whole problem. I didn't get any keys with this bike, and I could just drill out this ignition switch. That's where the lock is. But there's a lot of locks on here, and I know that key will match the storage key, and I don't know if it matches the other ones. There's 3 locks here on the saddlebag and 3 on the other one. And let's see, what else is there? Here's a lock up in the handlebars. I think it's a helmet lock. There's another helmet lock on the other side. Our helmet holder. And you can't just pry one of these off. Oh, here's another one here in the storage compartment. But you can't just, pry this door open, take the lock down to locksmith and have it keyed, because they don't give you all the codes. It doesn't, this one doesn't use all the tumblers. So the key that matches this will not go in here. This one has an extra tumbler or 2, I'm not really sure. So this is the lock I got to get out. I could just drill it out, but I don't want to, drill it out and buy a new one. That might be the easy way. But I want to have all the keys matching. So I got to get that lock off. And it looks like really tight quarters here. I don't know if I can get it off without removing this front fairing. I gotta get down in here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take the fairing off. It's a lot more work, but I'm not sure. I can't get into these tight spots. So that'll be the first step. Looks like the fairing has a top part and then there's a bottom part on both sides. So I'll take the bottom parts off first. It appears to overlap the top part. Okay, to get the bottom part off, there's 3 Phillips screws. There's one here, one over here, and there's one on the bottom. And then it'll come off. There's a couple hooks here that you just back it off those hooks. Okay, screws are out. Let's see how this is to get off. Well, a couple of these things popped off. And it's off. Okay, well, it'll be the same thing for the other side. This fairing's held on by 4 bolts on each side, plus electrical connection. And 2 of the bolts are here in the front. Those 2 acorn nuts are screwed onto a short screw with a Phillips head, which you can see from the inside. And the other 2 are under here. And there's a bolt here, looks like a 10 millimeter, and you can see the ends of some threads, but that's not a nut there. That's welded onto the bracket. There's a screw in the other end of it, which you can see from the top. Okay, there's that Phillips head screw, and that's for the side. And then on the front, there's these 2 Phillips head screws. And it's a little tight. It looks like you could probably take off, there's 2 bolts here. You could do these instead of the front, one coming in from either side. They hold the bracket on, and it's just a short bracket that goes around, and these 2 screws screw the frame of the bracket. So it looks like you could either take it off the bracket or even take the whole bracket off. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Well, I'm on the left side now, and it looks like the brackets are a little different. On this one here, it has 2 bolts coming down. I took the screw out that was in here, and I'm not sure that was necessary, but there's one right here. Take the nut off of that, and there's one here in the back. You take the nut off of that one. And I got that acorn nut off this, but I couldn't get the screw out because the steering wheel was locked to the left. You know, normally you could just straighten the steering wheel and get it out. So we'll see if that matters. If not, I'll try taking off the mount down here. There's one bolt from this side, one from the inside. Well, it's loose now, but I can't get it off. There's that one bolt down there, the one that I couldn't get through, and it's catching on it. So I'm going to try to take off, we can't see it from here, you know, the right end of that bracket has one bolt going through each way. Well, I got that inside bolt loose. It's right down there. And it didn't come out, it's sitting kind of cockeyed, but it's that one and this one here are kind of holding the fairing up, which is okay because I got to get it unplugged, get the electrical unplugged. So we'll see how it goes. I had to use a couple wobbly extensions on my socket and get it from the other end. That's the only way I could reach it. I wouldn't know how to do all that if the handlebar would turn, but that's the way it goes. Okay, well, let's see if I can get it off now. Okay, now I can reach the electrical. I'll show it to you. It's right here. And it looks like, you know, one of these normal connections. You can push it here and pull it off. it goes. Okay, fairing is off, but that wasn't the object of this video. What I want to do is to get the ignition switch out. And we'll start off with taking this the shade off, the sun visor, whatever it is for the gauges. Okay, there's two bolts here, the 7mm head. There's a couple of Phillips head screws here, which I'm not sure if I can get at. I may have to take this weight off. And there's a bolt on this side holding this plastic, and there's one on this side which is broken. So I'll take those off next. I was just curious. Let me see if I can. It's like 6 pounds, 10 ounces. Kilograms, 3.03. So that number 3 is kilograms. Okay, got this off. There's 2 Phillips head screws right down here on this side, another one over here, and they'll come off next, and I believe this whole thing will come off. I'm not sure if this front needs to come off yet, but the back does. I'll show you what we're trying to get to. Okay, this is the back of the ignition switch, and over to the left of it, behind that cable, that black cable that's running down, you can see a bolt. We want to get that off, and behind this cable here is another bolt just like it. I'm going to get that off, and we have to disconnect it electrically. I'm not sure just how to do that. I'll show you when I figure it out. I got one of the bolts out. Now I'm working on the other. I loosened up this box holding all the wires and squeezed in here. First I used the socket on a wobbly extension, and then I could get this nut turner in. Okay. All right, here's what the 2 bolts look like. And the ignition is loose. So let's see if I can get it out of there. Oh, steering wheel turns. Steering wheel. How about handlebars? And I didn't destroy the ignition, at least not yet. I gotta figure out how to get this wire off of it. Okay, I just pushed it down and out. And one of those connectors. And here it is. The trick to getting this unhooked was these things, instead of pushing them down like you do a lot of times, you squeeze them together. There's 2 of them. You squeeze it together, then you pull the this other part out. Here's what the other end looks like. Okay, well, now it's off to a locksmith to have a key made for this lock. See, it's stuck in the lock position. And hopefully that key will work everything else. I just got back from the locksmith, and that didn't take very long because I forgot it was Saturday afternoon and they were closed. So, you know what, I think I'll just end the video here, and I'll do like the repair manuals do. The reassembly is just the reverse of the disassembly. Doesn't look too bad without the fairing, does it? But I'll put it back on. It was in pretty good condition, and I've got some GL1100s without any fairing, so this will be different.